All right. So this welcome to the first actual what if series that I'm doing. So this is called What If Deku, him, were the king of the kaijus. I know that it's supposed to be like King Ghidorah or King Godzilla one, but no, this is my one if, so I'm adding new stuff to it. Alright. So, and before we begin, know that you could hear like different sounds, like me coughing right there. I don't have COVID, so I do not have COVID. So, alright. And in this what if, let me show you. Bakugo, in my what if, is a super nice guy. Momo and Jiro and Oraka are like these two. And of course, let's start from the beginning. Sorry, don't worry about that. So, in this, let's go back to. I know this is my what if, so go back to the prehistoric age. There's this king of kaijus was just walking around doing what kaijus do best, destroys everything. So then, after kaijus got killed off because of a meteor, yes, I'm putting him as the dinosaur age. So they all got killed off, and the worshippers, like way after, found their bones, and like worship him as a gun. So then 1,000 years have passed. Or actually, hold on, pause. He commanded all of them. Like every single kaiju. Oh, because how strong he is. So, and he had so much power that like, if you get on his bad side, he would tore you to pieces. Or worse, he could teleport you into the endless dimension thing. End of time kind. And then he had a servant, him. But he sorry. Woo! I drank coffee today. So, okay. So now, and him, I know his real name is displayed, but he has the power to actually adapt to new environments. Until a time came for his king, because he served him. Every kaiju served him that survived that. And now get into like past 1,000 years or million years. Here, as I'm walking into like My Hero Academia world. So, but through all that time is the worshippers believed that king of the kaijus were their sons. But little did they know that he had few hundreds of them, few thousands kaijus. Like, and of course, so then, but now in My Hero Academia universe thing, the one of those worshippers were actually Inko. I had to put Inko in this series. And so, sorry about that. Okay. So, Inko was not a kaiju, but her, like, because she was a worshipper and her husband and was not married and they actually had two worshippers. One for him, the other was for for her. Not her, but I'm kind of doing, yeah. Back then, kaijus didn't mean to do, like, produce things, but scratch that. Sorry. Or in that 100 years, they both loved each other so much. So then after that went and Inko Hanasashi had two kids. You know which ones? Zuko Midoriya and Zumi. Sometimes I pronounce it wrong, so Zumi. So Zumi was a normal girl. Well, like, she had fire manipulation like her father, and she can control, like, telepathy thing like her mother. I don't know if that's even accurate, so being completely honest. And she can do both at the same time, like control fire thing, like control the ways that it comes in and comes out. But her brother, on the other hand, you may saw it. It was toddler version of him. And it was him, but say it was him. So he was the toddler version, and don't worry about his face thing. His faces are on the right side. So left side. So they were confused. Is this his quirk? As, like, say they went to school and some school kids made fun of him for his appearance. Here, except for Bakugo. I know in canon Bakugo is not accurate because 1, he could make fun of him, and 2, could bully him around for that. So this is my version. And Momo and Jiro. So then hold on, let me count. There was 1, 2, 3. So all 3 of them treated Zuko as and really appreciates because he had a mutation quirk, that what they believe. So, but then Inko took Deku and Zumi, sorry, I almost said Zuko, but Zumi. So all 3 of them went to a quirk doctor, and those Deku got tested, and Zumi got tested, and the Deku. So Zumi went first, Deku went second. So then the doctor says, "Well, good job. You got fireman creation thing." And then when he turned to Zuko, he says, "You have super ultimate regeneration, mutation, and..." Or actually, scratch that. He said, "You're quirkless." As Ingo got freaked out. Like, she said, "I can't have one quirked person and one quirkless person." As the doctor says, "Well, he's quirkless." And, but, so, then when Inko went, like, picked up, or brought both of them, like, she dropped off Zumi at their house and took Zuko to I was gonna say the bar, but I forget his name, or to the abandoned, or not abandoned, but, abandoning him. So he was all sad and couldn't believe that his own mother did that to him. So then he ran around in sewers most of his life till he got to 15. And in this one, when he grew, his entire body, like when he ages, his body grew. Kind of like MT Ladies' transformation went way longer. So then when he hits 15, he went to USJ, or he actually, hold on. He actually figured out how to transform into a human, alright? He actually figured out how to transform into a human. So he transformed into that. And he actually changed his name to the Destroyer. So then he was the size of a human, like a size of him, or size of All Might, but everyone thought he was All Might at the time. But so he, I know, and probably you're all thinking, why does two worshippers get rid of their guns? And when, of course, then at 15, I keep doing that. Sorry, guys. When he was at 15, he learned how to transform into different forms, like into his human-like state and instead of All Might's thing, he was the same size as Bakugo. He put clothes on and hands on, and he went to USJ, or UA, sorry, not USJ, not yet though. So, and Music Mike Ing was, Music Mike, he's like, let me explain what the robots are. 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, all that. He was very intelligent, like smartest one in the entire world. But he's also he's also the strongest. He could outmatch All Might, Awful One, anyone, because how strong he is. So then, when they were gonna, he was gonna, or actually, Music Mike was gonna say, 3, 2, 1 thing before, way before. He was prepared, or they were prepared, but Zuko grabbed the handles of it, ripped the handles right off of the hinges. He went and he got, let's say, instead of 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, it was 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, and I just keep it as 0 points for that big guy. So he got passes because he passed everyone. He broke 25 school records in about 1 second because how powerful he was. And don't remember her, but she is coming after. So Zuko, got first place. Todoroki got second, Bakugo got third. Everybody else is like, So then Deku got like class 1A. And in this what if, Zumi got fourth. And she actually got into class 1A. Remember that? So then Zumi, so Zumi was, here, let me show you what Zumi looks like. I keep doing that for some stupid reason. Okay. So, I have a picture of it. Where is it? It was in, here it is. So, Zumi, she's like, well, I'm glad that I'm in class 1A. I'm in class 1A. And then, and in that what if, Inko, she was like, all sad, like, because this is actual her. So she says that, in mine, she's like all sad because one of her kids was quirkless, but the other was quirked. So, like, come on. So then, I remember that. So Deku got first place, and he got into, him and Zumi got into class 1A, and I know that. So then I'm skipping that Quirk test thing, the one that, except for the ball throw thing, because Zuko got like highest score of it. So then in that ball throw one, oh my goodness, Eraserhead told Deku to throw this, and he says how far, as like Eraserhead says, far as you could throw it. So he threw it so hard, it landed, or it went right into infinity. Like, he just straight up, like, threw it at, like, Mars. And before it hit Mars thing, it hits this girl. Not her. Don't worry. I know that I'm gonna say this, but the human, or a minute, the So, when there's a YouTuber called, I think, or one of the YouTubers, that I'm not gonna say his name, but he made this what if Deku was, or had, I call it was, had a kaiju as a girlfriend. So that's how it all started. So then, so Zuko says, oopsies, my bad. So the Bakugo's like, heck yeah, that's actually kind of cool, whoever you are. And then Deku says, because Deku knew that Bakugo doesn't even recognize him, but so did Momo and Jiro, who didn't even recognize him. But he was like, okay, have fun. As he, like, just straight up, not, like, so I'm skipping that part, so, here's his villains, Ellen, and the Destroyer one, I call it him that. So he was unable, so he got paired up with Momo, or not Momo, Bakugo, and his superhero costume was actually that, but way more clothes. So Bakugo is trying to remember who he was, but then when he transformed into a smaller version of it so that no one can, and so then it dawned on Bakugo, Zuko, is that you? And as he says, yep, that's me. Now, Quirks, his person, as Bakugo's like, huh, no wonder why you look so different. I never recognized you. As he says, ready to go, partner? And then when, of course, they hunt onto a battlefield thing, and they both were like, or Deku says, yep, let's go. As their opponent was actually, sorry, I just had to laugh. So it was between Momo and Jiro as their opponents. Boys versus girls. Sorry, I'm a... So Deku was like, huh, I could sense heat signatures. Because that's what one of his abilities is. heat signatures inside of it. And so Bakugo's like, yep, those two are our opponents for today. So Bakugo took care of, or was going to take care of Momo. Oh, because they both were like had to settle their differences, and Deku was against Jiro. So then I know that usually it was between Bakugo, Todoroki versus like Deku versus like someone else. But in this one, Bakugo, him, were on the same team. So Jiro uses her, like, whatever those are called, her earphones, and tried to make Deku go deaf. But Deku, who knew what she was planning, so basically he dodges it and went right around her and touched the bomb. Or actually, with his tail. And then the heroes are... Oh. So then Bakugo, Momo, and Jiro and Deku were walking back. Bakugo says, alright, what's with this appearance that you, as Deku says, well, because Bakugo had that thought on his mind when he first saw him transform. So Deku says, well, to be honest with you, Bakugo, I wanted to look more human-like, so that's why I chose this So, you like it? Bakugo says, heck yeah, it suits your person, or your original outfit before. As he says, thank you. Now, as Momo and Jiro were so confused, like, what? As Bakugo says, alright, show them they used to know. Alright? As he transforms into that. And then Momo and Jiro, their jaws dropped. Because their friend that they haven't seen through their entire lives was actually a monster. Bakugo says, let's just go. Okay? As Momo says, hold on. Wait, Deku. Or Zuko. Is that really you? As he transforms back, yep, it was me. As he or actually he says it in him. So he says, yep, it is me. The one big bad and nay. As he, or actually Momo and Jiro, or like, they ran up and just straight up tackles him. Like, we missed you so much. And then Bakugo, who's like, come on, you friends. Because they, or Momo and Jiro, actually had feelings for Deku, who, like, just straight up had feelings for him. So at USJ, or before USJ, because how fast he could walk. I know that people with, like, those tails thing can't even, like, walk normally. But Zuko can walk twice as fast as, like, he can walk like normally does, but he can be 100 times faster than he does at his full power thing. So then, before I forget, in my what if, I'm slowly changing Hero Killer Stain to the Hero or Villain Killer Stain. I forgot to mention that. So then when he says, I'm gonna go back to the sewers, because it was the end of the day before her, as Bakugo's like, huh? Back to the sewers? That's what all three of them said. He said, yeah. Because as he jumps, like, he immediately jumps into the sewers and swam, or like walked around. And that was, or when I wrote that thing, I said, thank goodness he doesn't have, like, because his senses have been, like, when he went from him and to his human form, he doesn't even, or he takes bad smells, like porta potties, kinds of bad smells, twist them into, like, fragrances. Thing. Like a flowers or whatever. So then, when the next day, Mr. Aizawa, don't believe he has the appearance. So, like, say this is Mr. Aizawa. He was like, okay, Zuko, because I know that I know that you were in the sewers, so take a shower first before USJ. And he says, sure thing. And, of course, and in this what if, I'm changing some of the good guys and bad guys to, like be opposite to each other's. I said some, not like. So I changed Dobby, see, to the good guy, see. See? So he was like, yeah, let's do it. And when Deku got to there, let me show you. When Deku got to there, he took a shower an hour before, and he became like back to his usual self. And when he in his monster form, he had like 32 pack. And in his human-like state, he had he had 64 pack. Or like, it was. So then he can also do what his sister does. Fire manipulation. And he can also. So then, when at USJ thing, or actually before, they rhyme, some random villain just hits the bus. I know in canon they make it home safely, or made it to there safely, but at USJ, or in my one, they got hit by a villain and drove off, like hit and run. The bus flipped over. Deku saw what it did, and he was mad. I'm making quotes. He was like furious. So he transformed into his monster form, went and checked on his friends, like his classmates, and he went then and grabbed her, because Deku at this time, he was 15. He was quite tallest one. If he uses his tail, he would be a tallest past like MT Lady. So he goes over, grabs that getaway vehicle thing, brings it over, and looks at them with such tense and anger that when you look at him when he's mad, I wish you luck, because you wouldn't last 5 minutes as those robbers, or like villains, or like, we surrender, as when they saw his true form, like his classmates saw his true form, some of them are so shocked, like, what the heck? And so then they don't mind them. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry. All that snapping my finger. Okay, so when he was like mad, so he sets them down, and the authorities came, or he actually placed the entire car all the way onto the like Tartarus kind, because how long he is. Came right back in about 2 seconds, because he's bigger than the, like, he passed MT Lady. His tail could wrap around her entire body when she's like transformed 3 times. That's how long he gets, and he's really big. Not even like MT Lady could even reach around him. So he like did that and did a USJ anything by himself, because all of them, like all the students, Timer and the Mr. Azawa went to the hospital, but only person that went on USJ thing was Zuko and 13. And so 13 was explaining to Zuko what it is. And the portal opens up. Zuko sees the villains coming out. And he was like so upset. So he like straight up transformed. Like he grabbed 13 and puts her on his shoulder, and he uses his tail thing, like his legs thing, and like he swiped every villain onto like one side of the USJ, and USJ was pretty big. He couldn't move around, so he like swish swish boom boom, and when the Nomu attacked, he just straight up like he grabbed it and he tried to squirm out, or him trying to grab a Nomu. He caught it, of course, and he tried to wiggle himself out. But little did they know, that Nomu was actually a kaiju version. Like, let me show you. I had a picture on here once, and so Deku, it wasn't like this one, but more of like this guy. Hey, and but Zuko could handle him, because I'm also making him into like a kaiju version. So when the kaiju Nomu thing, like way buffier than this guy, actually he remember, or like his kaiju brain remembers what Zuko or that creature was. So he stopped squirming, and he bowed before him, like, "I'm sorry, master." Fine. As he was like, "That's okay." No, he was like surprised, and every single one of them, every single person that was, or like 13, was uninjured. Mr. Aizawa got only a head concussion. And from that wreck, and then the hand over his face guy that Shiraki-sen, I know that I pronounced it wrong, but Shiraki-sen, and that's what I keep calling it. So Shiraki-sen and Kirigiri got warped out of there fast as they could before he turned his sight to them. Because this creature was bigger than they ever seen it. So then they reported into All for One. And I didn't leave him out of this, like, what if? So All for One's like, I see. The king of all the kaijus is present to this world. How happy am I? As Shiraki-sen says, "Why are you so happy about it?" Because All for One heard about stories of the king of the kaijus had so much power that no one could stand up to it. So he decided, I'm gonna take its quirks. So then when All Might showed up, he saw that big thing and he was like, holy crap. And Kirigiri and Shiraki-sen was left that Nomu to Deku. So when All Might in his big might form, tried to kill Deku, when he was big. So 13 says, hold on, All Might, this is Deku. Or actually, this is a student at UA. As All Might stops his attack. And so then he transforms it back into his human form. Yeah. Or he said, yeah, The real villains are over there. As him and the Nomu, the one that I showed you earlier, they and 13 pointed to them, all those villains, as, of course, when he goes back to the hospital to check on his school friend thing, Bakugo had such a brain concussion thing that surprisingly his head didn't fall off, or he didn't have a broken skull thing. Just a and Momo had head trauma, Jiro had, and like what usually do. So then, out of, let's say, somewhere like out of town thing, like the countryside, the kaijus that survived that extinction that went underground, and one of them mostly him said, I might try to do the bird's voice, but here I go. Headphone users warning. Have you heard about this? Our king is back. What? There was rumors that there's this big monster kaiju that grabbed a small car. What? As Mothra, she finds that interesting that one of the kaijus actually survived that explosion. So did this Godzilla version. I'm not taking the My Hero Academia, like the movie one, but so, and that dog, that one, he says it in a low voice. Oh, I heard that I can't believe my master has returned to the land of the living. After these years of captivity thing, now we are seeing. Of course, because Zuko was reincarnated as this kind, and so his wife actually did die, or actually, his wife lived, and he had a daughter on her with him, like, or with the before one, the one that him before, and she had the ability to shapeshift into the more human-like, like her. So she took that appearance and So then, after USJ, they all had their breaks things. And Deku was just chilling in the sewers, just like, don't mind that sound. So but one of the monsters that came into the sewer one, and Zuko was in that form. He was just relaxing and nothing else to do. But so the monster says to him, "Are you a monster that we all heard on the news?" And what kind of monster are in? As he says, or actually, because when he saw that, and he says, you have been reincarnated as this child. As he says, yes. The voice of real one says, yes, I've been reincarnated as this human. As they, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course, has appeared, and that girl says, husband, you're back, yay. As he says, yes. What? I believe that these humans worshipped me before or after I passed away. So now, I'm really grateful. Because Zuko had 2 different personalities. So after 2 weeks have passed, he starts he's trained harder. And he came to school, he went to the sports festival. He says, you're not late. Or actually, he was early before everyone else. So, to take a shower thing. So, Bakugo says, you're kind of early. Or actually, not Bakugo. Nezu says it. As he says, yeah, I have that tendency to came early than coming late. If I came late, then bad happens me. So, and Nezu says, I understand. And this is so Bakugo came in and he says, well, good morning, Deku. Because his mother, or actually his mother, told him that, and Inko told her that he needs to be away from him, or actually he didn't say hi, so he stayed away from him. So then the sports festival thing went, during that race thing, Deku won that fair and square. And when Inko saw her son in that form, she was like, wait, so as Inko, or actually Bakugo, or not Bakugo, so, yeah, so Deku won, like, cavalry battle, the fight, or not the fight, the race, cavalry battle, now onto a fight, as they pronounce his real name, Zuku Midoriya versus the brainwashing dude. As when they heard that, they thought, or actually Inko thought he was, like, got abandoned. But when after she saw what he really looked like, Deku, like, just straight up won that round. Like, he just straight up and he knocks Brain Dude out. And so Eraserhead told or Deku if he wants to transform, that's okay. As Deku, or actually Eraserhead says, go ahead, Deku, show them what you really look like. Or scratch that. So then he won the cavalry battle, race, and the fight one. Because he, like, boom, boom, I win. Boom, boom, I win. First place. And his 5 servant says, that is cool. His own daughter saw it, and, like, his own daughter saw that. And she's like, yoo-hoo! Because that was her, like, yeah. So Momojiro saw, like, his. So then, when during the exam, every girl wanted to have, or every female pro hero wanted Deku to be there, join their agency. And so, but Endeavor, because Deku had a fire quirk thing that, like, it was blinding light thing. So he said to him, come on, join my agencies, of course. Or actually, after they, like, after Bakugo, or no, not Bakugo, I mean, after the sports festival, or actually, before, Or of course, All Might decided to give One for All to Zuko. I know it's a common thing in this what if universe things. But so Deku was powerful enough to destroy the humans, and like he could destroy like everyone, but he's like, nah, I'll just save them, of course. So they just like, okay. So after all the kaijus saw what he looked like before, or they all saw him before, but now after they really changed. Like, wow, he went through the evolution. So then after they saw him won the sports festival, they're like, wow, Zuko he can beat anyone. So some of you are probably gonna ask me, how about give One for All to Zumi, or Bakugo, or Momo? Well, I had this plan in my head for quite a long time. And yes, I will give Zumi that One for All. But I'll just do it. So All Might, or instead of giving that to Deku, he All Might gave One for All to Zumi. So then he to just have a even battle if they ever get to battle. So then Deku, or no, wait, hold on. So Deku was, or before, after he won the first fight against Brain Dude, the Eraserhead, actually scratch that, sorry. Keep saying that. So I originally had it planned to have Racerhead say, "Go ahead, show your true self." And then Deku became what you see on screen. This one. But I'm like, no. Oh. But so then during the agency thing, and Musclier, instead of killing those two water heroes that was Koda's parents in this what if, he agreed to join the League of Villains, scratch that, he wanted to go toe to toe with Endeavor, but then I can't talk right now. So Deku was, or actually, when Deku was leaving the sports festival, he got stopped by Endeavor. the Flame Hero, number 2, and told him, I'm letting you join my agency. Okay? So then he agrees, and then he joined right to there instead of going to like a high school thing. No, his high school thing, or Nezu knew about it, and Eraserhead. And so he went back to the sewers, and his daughter, Honor, saw him go back into the sewers, and she went after him. Or actually, both of them went to their home thing. So then he or so she's like, that was fun. And what are you gonna do next? As he says, well, Endeavor and Nezu and Eraserhead wants me to join Endeavor's agency. So, how about you? Well, I really don't know. Oh, but was because you're my nan and I'm letting you decide. Well, it's a school. You could pick whatever you want. Only one agency, not to like your heart desires kind. Well, I always would choose like and because Momo and Jiro knew that Zuko is, and Bakugo, almost forgot about him. All three of them knew that Zuko, that they know, hasn't, like, was not gone, but they believe that he's transformed into the monster during birth. And it is true. Do you see that green aura that's in his chest? It is actually the monster version of him. And he was like, better research it up as he tries to like see what Endeavor has and weaknesses. As his own daughter just comes in and says, "What are you doing?" Just seeing what the agency Endeavor has, the like combat, I would see him as that guy. Of course, they just like, he went in and Endeavor was like, yep. So then Momo, Jiro, they both chose their agencies of like that. And Deku's daughter, his daughter, chose to join Endeavor to Mm. So, sorry. So, the Endeavor knows that Zuko is that big creature one, but don't worry. So, Deku was pretty powerful. And the Nomus, they all, like, been reincarnated as, like, or they got, so, like, so Bakugo got, like, not speed guys, but he got the Endeavor too. So 3 people as Deku, who saw Bakugo, or actually Bakugo's mother, or actually Inko, sorry, Inko saw her son on TV and looks like that. She, like, wanted to talk to him, but he was busy. So he told Bakugo's mom to tell Bakugo to go see her. So he did, and but he says, "Hey, Deku, hey, someone's mom wants to talk to you about something." He says, "Okay, and how about after this, like, thing, okay?" All right. The and his sister says, "What kind of mother are we talking about?" "Don't worry. I know who it is. Just make sure you don't lose your competence and your abilities, okay?" As she says, "I won't." As Bakugo's like, "Huh? I didn't know that you had a kid." "Well, get used to it. It's as Bakugo says, "All right." And so, because Deku had 2 different, like, things, like his King of the Monsters thing, and his human-like state, he really like his human-like state better than his monster state. So then the after exam thing or agencies thing, and so hold on. So the entire world knows that Zuko is the kaiju thing. So let's go back. Sorry. So Deku, Deku, or actually the Nomus, like, they all stopped attacking them and walked up to Deku and they bowed, like, and they said, "Our king has returned." As they're like, or as he's like, ugh. such a bad headache. So all three of them went into the sewer thing. And that scared me. So hold on. So Bakugo was. Let me turn that off before. Sorry about that. Hold on, give me 1 minute and 5 seconds. So Bakugo is like, or actually Todoroki, or instead of Bakugo, it was Todoroki, I meant to say. But Todoroki was so surprised that so did Endeavor, because they never seen Nomus act like that before. Only they seen them be irrational ones, like, I'm gonna kill you kind of rational. But so Deku, Todoroki, or actually Todoroki, not Bakugo, the Todoroki Endeavor told Zuko that you're not from this world, aren't you? Or actually, so Deku was, hold on. So Deku, were like, they went back into the sewers, but she went back to the sewer. Deku just went, or told her that he was going to somewhere. So he went to Midoriya's house. Or, yeah, Midoriya's, that's what I'll call it. Midoriya's house. Because they, in my way, they, instead of having apartment buildings, they had like a house that's enough to contain like 4 people in it. So Deku knocked. Hold on, give me 1 minute. So Inko answered, and because was expecting Deku, so she saw Deku for probably the first time since she got rid of him. Like, she just doesn't want him. And when she saw him had 64 pack or whatever that pack is, and she saw him as a human, closely resembles one, Inko, like, almost laughed her head off. After she saw him. Because she actually said, or she says, coming in, as she was serious about it, like, after a few minutes. So she told him that Zuko, or this is what she says, Zuko, or I'm trying to match a ring tone, so Zuko, I know that you don't have a quirk, but in my what if, he does have a quirk, but he hides it really well. Because his monster appearance is hiding it from anyone. So Inko told him, if you want, or you are part of this family, so I accept who you are before and after. As he's like things, as he looks at his hand and says, I've been only born as this. And so, no, it's actually Deku had like every quirk that could be imaginable. Like, he can do like what Momo does, like creative ability, Bakugo's explosions, and Earphone Jax's earphone things, and basically everything, including self-revival. So, Deku, was like visiting with Inko, and it was time for him to go to sleep in the sewer thing. So he went back to the sewer, and actually only people that knew was Hisashi. So because he got reincarnated into Zuko's body, it's like he has two different personalities. His human, or Zuko, like canon Zuko, but more calm, and that monster version. So they just like this what if. So they went to a camp, and in that camp was that was a Pussycats, and of course Class 1A was there before, and then Class 1B. So then Deku, like, I'm skipping that part, so it's similar to canon, but Koda's parents were still alive. They're not dead, but they're still alive, and Musclier heard that Deku was the strongest one. So he went over and knocked, or actually, they both like collided fist, not fish, fist. When they, and in this what if, Muriel, the one that's in the black suit looking thing, Ing? I'm making him like he always got that got beaten out of him. And when they all saw Zuku's monster form, or some of them are like, dang, that fella's big. And of course, when during that like brave thing, he just was brave enough. He went around the circle about 5 times over. Like he just like every time the villains try to attack, he uses his tail to and so Mr. Compressed, or actually gas, like made him fall asleep. And Mr. compressed all of him down to the ball thing. So then he was with, trying to think, he was with, I believe, Bakugo. Sorry. He was with, or actually he was with Zumi. She keeps calling him her brother since they were little kids. But when Zuko got abandoned, she stopped doing that. But when she saw him again, she called him her brother again. Like, hey brother, what's up, brother? Kind. And she got notified by her mother that Zuko is still your brother. So then Bakugo, Momo, and Jiro all. So Bakugo, Momo, and Jiro were. It was supposed to be 3 and then 2, or actually 3, but it was so uneven, so they had to put 2. Oh. So Bakugo, Momo, Jiro was on one team, and Deku, Zumi was on the other. So, and his sister, or his daughter, I almost forgot. So, all 3 of them were like, okay. And when he got kidnapped, when they kidnapped Deku, he got really, really ticked off. Like someone just punched him in the face, kind of ticked off. So he was in chains, like, forget what it's called. It's just like, it's kind of like a straitjacket, but more like a handcuffs in the back and straps in the front. Kind of like that, but kind of like twice his measuring tape thing all the way around his body. Yeah. And he's like, he's like, so All For One says, you're the one that is the king of the kaijus, I see. Now I'm going to steal your power to. So he basically stole, or like he, like, just I'm giving him the separation thing. So he separated Zuko, like, from the monster kaiju form thing. Like, this is he supposed to look like. And so then the kaiju form got absorbed into the into him, and says all this power, all this, as he said, as Bakugo says, or not Bakugo, because in Inko, or actually, because Deku still had his, like, or actually he, like, how did you do that? It's my, or the Ray, or All For One says, it's my separation quirk. It allows me to separate a person's quirk, or power, like their transformation, into two different people. So then Deku says, as he, or actually, or actually, or that handy guy, he was like, can I kill him now? Sure. As he kills Deku. I know it's pretty dark, but I have to do it. So don't blame me, blame those people. So after he got killed, off, little did they know. So then after he got disintegrated, and so then and they never knew where they're at. But and he knew where, or actually Deku says, or actually before he got taken away he used his tail, implanted it into the ground to plant a beacon and into then so he's like that no one was looking. So they all came in, they did their thing, and raised her head, and everybody saw Zuku's corpses things, or like ashes, or his shoes were on the ground, and says, what did you do to him? As All For One says, oh, I did not do that. I just allowed my sensei to, become, or kills him. As, because Dobby, he was in Class 1A. He had a lot of respect for Deku. But after he saw his friend's shoes were disintegrated, or him, as he lit it up like fiery kind. And All Might was doing his battle. He was gonna do that one punch thing, but of course, he ran out of steam. And of course, Racerhead, or actually, Zuko came back to life thing, because he had self-revival. So he, revived himself before Baku, or before All for One delivered the final blow to Baku, or All Might. Sorry. Keep saying Bakugo, but before he had that same arm. So, but Deku straight up pulls All Might out of his punch radius thing, and he says, "Okay," as it was none other than Deku. He says, "Okay," as Deku, or as All Might, or everyone saw Deku laying. He came right back. I see that you have my friend's power, I see. That really ticks me off. As he says, let the rest of the fight, to me. And he, hold on. He was really, really mad. So he says to himself, or says to All for One, that you better give my other self back. It was like that. But All for One says, "No, I'll keep your little friend and his power to myself." As he says that wasn't a request. As he just went full throttle, he never could stop, and ending up killing All for One. And all the way to because he had such bottled up hatred for people that try to steal things from him. So he just straight up murders All for One. And he also became the ultimate embodiment of himself called Zuku, the king of the kaijus, because his monster form, him, left All For One and gone back to like his into Zuku's body, and he became a warrior, kind of like him. So Deku was like, I am the ultimate king of the kaijus. Now, as he banished, he just grabs All For One, what remains of him. Like his arms, his legs were gone, but his body was not. So he it was slowly regenerating. So he made a portal, threw him in, and he was like, I'm so done. As when they all saw Bakugo, Jiro, or Momo, or I keep saying Bakugo, Jiro, and then Momo, but when they saw his human form, he looked like an average kid, but they know that he's fused with the monster's power. As he tells the entire world that I am the embodiment of all the kaijus. As his daughter was so happy that Deku, or her father, has now regained, because her mother, she knew that who it was. So they all went back to their house, and actually Inko invited them over, and when Deku told him, or actually Inko told Deku, because she was crying. She's never seen his actual form yet. Like his real form, like that form. So she was like, I'm so happy for you. Of course. So then, skip all that stuff. It's almost similar to canon, but then Ares or actually Overhaul in my what if, decided to instead of making Quirk erasing bullets, he made kaiju erasing bullets to kill the kaijus off. So then when they did that, the Sir Night Eyes called a meeting, or actually, because during that throw a ball thing, Zuku, Ugu and Class 1A passed, all of them passed, but he he has self-control over his to make his better. So then Dobby says, "Good job, kid," or "Good job. Not done it better myself," as he was so appreciative. And Toga in this, like, what if she is like, when after she saw Deku, or she heard about the rumors of the kaijus are back. What the heck? It's just fireworks. Ow. So, they were all happy with each other, and of course, Inko, or actually, Deku told Inko that he wasn't quirkless. Yes, this is what he said. "I'm not quirkless, but my other self was hiding it so well. I'm not kidding you. Watch." As he does, like, he uses his own telekinesis to, like, lift up a couch through, or like swing back and forth. Even he could use, like, Momo's abilities too. Jiro's, everyone's. That surprised Inko. Like, wait, what? You weren't quirkless? Nope. Sadly, no, I'm not. As when they went back to school, he accidentally, let me add this part in, he accidentally turned every single student into little toddlers. Like, what the heck? Like, all of them are like, including his own sister. Like, his own sister was turned into that. I was like, I had to add that part in, so, to make it perfect. So then Deku was able to live a happy ending. So did the kaiju version of him. Because he absorbed all the kaijus into his pocket universe thing with him. So that they both live two different lives, and that's it. So, for the overhaul thing, Zuko basically saved Ares, but when the monster version of Overhaul, the big monster looking thing, came, and sorry, so Overhaul was, and don't worry about you're probably saying in the comments, "Oh, how about that Magnus girl," or whatever that girl is called, the one that got killed by Overhaul. Spoilers alert. So she, in my whatever, she's not dead. She joined overhaul. Oh. And basically, thing on, yep. So she was not dead. So then, plus Mr. Compressed didn't lose his arm or any parts. So, but Toga just like, cause how much she's in love with Zuko. They like Zuko, who got loved by. Let me say this. By Momo, Jiro, Toga, every girl that's like in My Hero Academia. Except for his sister and his, like, the kaijus' daughter. They all wanted to date him. So he's like, he's all confused, like, wait, what? As then all that happened, she was, or they're like, yeah, that's a boy, that's our boy right there. Because lockdown, in this, what if lockdown had so much respect for Zuko, because, but in canon he says, why are we hiring a bunch of kids in the kind? But he was talking about the other kids, but never to Zuko. But when he said, why do we hire a bunch of kids? As they thought, or he thought he was talking about him. He slammed over, or like, not over a hole, lockdown, pinned him against the wall. He was talking about the other students. So then, it's just weird stuff. Okay? So, it's kind of normal for it. So then, when after that, then happy ever after thing. So, I hope that you enjoyed this kind of like movie kind of what if. So, it's I didn't do one since my dad passed. Okay? And be safe, wear a mask, 6 feet apart, and all that stuff. And I would rather read, okay?